Every week, the program Sports Nation introduces you to the main events of Kazakhstan and world sports. We cover large tournaments, find outstanding heroes, and open doors to the best sports arenas in the country. In today's program, we will discuss the match meetings of Astana Arlan's boxers, talk with the medalist of 3 Olympic Games, Gyuzel Manyurova, and we will learn about the prospects for the development of the short track in the country. For the start, brief overview of the main news for this week. Kazakhstan skier Alexander Kaladin won the gold medal in the sprint in the category of standing athletes at the Paralympic Games in Pyeongchang. In the finals, the Kazakhstani sportsman started with a 15-second delay, but still managed to catch up with his rivals and literally pull out the gold at the finish line, bringing the country the first medal in the Winter Paralympic Games. Gusman Kyrgyzbayev won the Grand Prix of Judo in Agadir, Morocco. The 25-year-old Kazakh, who performs in weight up to 60 kilograms, met with Bekir Ozlu from Turkey in the final match. The winner of this meeting was identified in the golden score, where Kyrgyzbayev was luckier. Young Kazakhstani Ethel Tumash became the champion of karate in the USA. A 14-year-old schoolgirl from Almaty in 1 year won 30 medals and 10 cups in prestigious tournaments in North America. When she was 8 years old, she started to train in this style of shitoru in Almaty. At the moment, Ethel's family lives in New York, but the girl intends to protect the honor of her native country.
I have a brown belt with 3 stripes, and the next is the black belt. My dream is to participate in the Olympic Games and defend the honor of Kazakhstan and show that we can do it. I want to show the Kazakh spirit.
The national football team of Kazakhstan traveled to Budapest, where on March 23rd it will hold a friendly match against the national team of Hungary. This game will be the first for the Bulgarian specialist Stanimir Stoilov as coach of the national team. After 3 days, Kazakhstani football players will meet with the Bulgarian national team. Out of 24 players who were invited, 21 are football players from Astana and Kairat clubs. Next on Sports Nation, the review of match meetings of Astana Arlan's boxers at the 8th season of the World Series of Boxing. Kazakhstanis entered the new season in the status of 3-time acting champions, and the team was headed by Olympic champion and winner of the Well Barker Cup, Bakhtiar Artayev. The composition of the club was renewed by 80% because many Kazakhstani boxers made their debut this season. Opponents of the Arlans in the Asia zone were the Chinese team China Dragons, the Russian Patriot boxing team, and the new team from India. Our guys show good training, good fights, which we see in previous rounds. We were training for 18 days in the mountains, 14 days in the steppe in Taraz. There were no questions to the physical form of the boxers. In the first meeting of WSB Arlan's season in Karganda, ahead of schedule defeated debutants from Indian Tigers with a total score of 4-1. The Kazakhs looked tactically and more competent than the opponent. The support from the fans played an important role. A few days later in Shchuchinsk, Arlan welcomed boxers from the Patriot boxing team. We broke into the very center of Kazakhstan with the intention of winning. 5 of your guys will be in our way, and 5 of our guys will try to take this victory. Despite all the efforts of Russians, Kazakh boxers looked more prepared and motivated. Excellence in the ring was reflected in the final score 5-0. Ilyas Suleimanov, Dilmurat Majitov, Nurbol Atayev, Abdulhan Amankul, and Temirtaz Yusupov won team points. The first visiting match of the Wolves in the season took place in St. Petersburg, where the Patriots had the opportunity to rehabilitate themselves from a devastating defeat. The Kazakhs came to Russia not in the optimal composition, but they managed to impose the struggle. The match will be remembered by the fans, first of all by judicial errors, which were later acknowledged by many experts. For example, in that very moment, when Nursultan Amanjolov knocked out his opponent. As a result of first defeat in the 8th season, the next match will be held on March 24th in India. Coming up on Sports Nation, medalist of 3 Olympic Games, Gyuzel Manyurova will share with us the most valuable awards that she received throughout her career.
At the age of 32, Gyuzel Manyurova made a difficult decision. She changed the Russian passport to Kazakh one. Changes became a push to reach new heights. Manyurova won 2 medals of the Olympic Games, being a member of Kazakhstan national team. Now women's wrestling in the country is associated with her name.
Until 2002, you were engaged in Aikido for a long time, for 10 years. How did the idea to start fighting come?
We trained in the same hall with freestyle wrestlers. My Aikido team, which I trained, came after the freestyle wrestlers, and we somehow had an argument. They said that there is no competition in Aikido, that it was not a sport. And I said that I would go to the Olympics and I would prove you all that Aikido has its advantages. And so I went to the Olympics in 2002 and became a prize winner of the Olympics.
How did the option with Kazakhstan appear?
Когда я не попала на Олимпиаду в Пекине, при этом пройдя 4 года жесточайшего отбора и взяв лицензию...
When I didn't get to the Olympics in Beijing, after 4 years of severe selection and a license that was not on my name, but simply for the country, it was an ugly situation. I was disqualified from the Olympic team, and this killed all my motivation to go through another 4 years of the same tests just to come for the same result, so that I can lose everything before the Olympics. I honestly worked during 4 years tirelessly despite all injuries, deprivations, and sacrifices. I talked with people from Kazakhstan. It was my coach, Bulat Abdrahmanov, who invited me personally. After talking with him, I didn't even think about all other options.
Булат Кубаевич Абдрахманов приглашал меня лично, и после разговора с ним, в общем, все другие варианты мы отсеяли.
In fact, you had a connection with Kazakhstan before that. Your father is a physicist. He worked in Baikonur. You lived there.
Да, мы там жили много лет.
Yes, we lived there for many years. My father says that he has returned to his historic homeland. Probably it was the calling. Yes, Kazakhstan is closer to me in terms of mentality, with its attitude towards people. I feel that I'm a respected sportswoman here. I feel happy here. I'm in demand.
Do you have any memories from your childhood in Kazakhstan?
My dad took me to see the launch of the rocket. It's unforgettable. They say children after 5 years old are more conscious. But I remember this moment. It was mesmerizing.
You have received the citizenship of Kazakhstan. You started to perform and win the first medals for the national team of Kazakhstan. What are the differences between the European and Asian fights?
Asia continent had the most decorated athletes at the time. There are 5-time world female champions, Olympic champions. Their style of fighting is Asian. It suits me very much. This is my favorite style, on my feet, below the belt.
Before the Olympic Games in London, you lived in Almaty at a sports school. How did it happen?
Жизнь спортсмена, она вообще нелегкая.
The life of an athlete is not easy at all. At that time, we lived in such conditions. Since the Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, the president has issued a decree that athletes should all be provided with housing. Thanks to our president, this housing issue has been resolved. And what happened, happened. There must always be difficulties on the way, so that there is always an incentive to overcome them.
Всегда должны быть, наверное, трудности на пути, чтобы был стимул их преодолевать.
Medal in Rio. I remember the moment when there was a semi-final fight, the match almost ended. The score was 1-8, not in your favor. But in a few seconds, you knocked out your opponent.
Мне хотелось порадовать страну, которая мне дала вторую жизнь спортивную.
I wanted to show my gratitude towards the country that gave me a second life in sport. After London, I could end my career. I am not young anymore. The number of injuries is increasing each year, and it is more and more difficult to keep up with the high level of training. I think I was able to do that thanks to the support of people who just came up to me before the Olympic Games, wished me good luck.
Weren't you upset? You were hoping for gold medal.
Эмоционально я уже была пустая после схватки с россиянкой.
Emotionally, I was empty after a fight with a Russian sportswoman. Now, of course, I can say anything. Doctors, girls, coaches knew that I was fighting practically on one leg. So I went to the Olympic Games on one leg and brought a silver medal.
На Олимпиаду на одной ноге привезти медаль, и серебряную, тем более через 8 лет.
You have torn your cruciate ligaments.
Yes, my cruciate ligaments were torn. I could not get up on this leg and I couldn't stand on this knee.
Did you have an operation?
If I had one, I would not be able to participate in the Olympics. I would not have time to rehabilitate. Because on average, rehabilitation takes a year, and only the team and close people knew what kind of price I paid for this medal.
Can you say that it is the most valuable in your career?
Yes, the most valuable, the most difficult one before Olympic Games in Athens. I trained for 2 years and I have not experienced all the hardships, all the dramas, all the struggles. And to get to the medal at Rio de Janeiro, I had suffered a lot. I shed so much blood, nerves and tears that this is my most expensive and the most golden medal.
You are one of the few sports people in the world who is the prize winner of 3 Olympic Games. This is phenomenal. Did the Federation of Female Wrestling somehow note this fact?
Yes, only 3 people in the world in female wrestling who are 3-time prize winners of the Olympic Games. Our personal things, in my case my leotards, are in the Hall of Fame in Lausanne with my name and the flag of Kazakhstan.
Alexander Golovanov is your spouse, your mentor. How comfortable is it?
Это удобно, это хорошо?
Да, это очень удобно, что мой супруг всегда со мной.
Yes, it's very convenient. My husband is always with me. First of all, the family is with me. To sustain without the support of family and loved ones 9 months a year is difficult. In sports, few of the women have a family life. I probably once again was lucky that my husband and coach is my everything. He's my support. He left everything for me. He moved with me to Kazakhstan.
Моя главная опора, который со мной бросив все, и ради меня переехал в Казахстан.
We are in the Academy of Women's Wrestling, which was opened recently. What made this possible?
Это, конечно, в первую очередь огромные слова безграничной благодарности Тимуру Аскаровичу.
My words of gratitude to Timur Kulibayev, Danyar Abulgazin, Sawat Manbayev, the leadership of the National Olympic Committee. Thanks to their support, this academy was opened. This is the first academy in Kazakhstan.
Личный и общий. Появилась эта академия.
Has the struggle become more popular among girls in recent years?
I think yes, there is always a room to grow. I think with the opening of the academy, popularity should grow even more.
Сейчас вы занимаете пост вице-президента.
What are the goals you set as vice president of the Federation for Female Wrestling?
Развивать женскую борьбу.
To develop female wrestling to increase the number of medals each year. We have some of the best conditions in the world. You just need to give a result, to do your work honestly, professionally. That's our goal.
Профессионально. Вот моя задача.
You're against the legionaries in the team. Explain why.
I had been in a similar position in 2012 because until 2012 the team consisted entirely out of legionnaires. They gave the result and the local girls came in second and third. Legionnaires are needed so that local girls can grow and learn. On the basis of the academy, we plan to invite foreign fighters here so that our local girls have more opportunity to spar and grow. You grow with strong rivals. That's how the national team of Azerbaijan and Turkey has grown. They took the legionnaires but obliged them to train in their homeland. Thanks to this, they now have a national team which consists 90% of local athletes.
Today the team consists of the students.
100%.
You have not officially stated that you are completing a career. That means you are still in sport.
Yes, I'm still in sport. Opponents, beware. Of course, it's a joke. Of course, I'm still in shape, and as an active athlete, it hasn't been 4 years since the Olympic Games. I'm still in the ranks. I will help girls both on the carpet and outside the carpet.
По сути, спорт больших достижений это очень тяжело.
Sport of great achievements is very difficult. training, championships, gold medals, but there's always two sides of the story. Did you have to sacrifice a lot for the sake of victories and medals?
Да, я могу сказать, что ради того, чтобы заниматься борьбой, я переехала в другую страну. Очень жесткий режим и очень жесткий.
Yes, in order to fight, I moved to another country. I had a very strict regime and very strict discipline. And for a woman, this is a double sacrifice. The time in sports for a woman is very short, because still, the main purpose for her is to get married and to create a family. Life in sports is very short.
Ее цель это, наверное, выйти замуж, создать семейный очаг. Вот для большинства женщин.
We need to put our best in a short period of time to make sure that all sacrifices were not in vain. There must be some result. And there are no holiday breaks. We're training on December 31st, on January 1st, on March 8th, on our birthdays. Everything is dedicated to only one goal, the Olympic Games.
Все подчинено только одной цели – Олимпийские игры.
What is the probability that you will perform in Tokyo?
Меня терзает этим вопросом с первого дня после Рио.
I am tormented by this issue from the first day after the Olympics in Rio. I'm not ready to answer this question yet, in any way. I say every Olympic Games that this is the last one. But while I do not have gold, somehow I find myself in the next Olympic cycle. Before every Olympic Games, I think about the end of my career.
Good luck to you. We're rooting for you.
Thank you.
Next in Sports Nation, trainer Ksenia Gamidova will tell about the unprecedented popularity of the short track in Kazakhstan.
Ну разгоняйся, Томми! И выход! Томми, где выход? Прокат и выход! Вот, Темир, молодец! Ну вообще, когда...
When children come, the very first thing we test them on their jump. Even if they cannot jump, if they have a good strength, a good flight in the jump, then they will be sensible enough to achieve good result. In other words, they have a potential to develop their skills. Well, we look at the speed qualities, sharpness and flexibility.
Его какие-то скоростные качества, резкость, гибкость.
The short track first appeared in the United States of America and Canada in the early 20th century. In these countries, it even eclipsed the classic speed skating. In the Olympic family, skating was accepted only in 1992. In Soviet times, in Kazakhstan, the short track developed only in a couple of regions. Its active development started in 2002. Short track appeared in the ranks of the most popular sports after the Olympic Games in Sochi. Back then, our short trackers took the 5th place in the team event. The trainers recommend starting the short track from the age of 5. It is at this age that the foundations of sport techniques are laid.
In general, when parents bring their children, we immediately warn parents that this is a very extreme sport. Usually, I, for example, take children who are hooligans. All of our sportsmen are hooligans. A quiet child does not get along with us, because a quiet child needs a more relaxed atmosphere.
Now the short track is actively developing in Ural, Kostanay, Oskimien, Shymkent and Kizlorda.
I worked in Kostanay. There was a group of 100 people. Everyone wanted to train. We had to deny applications for some people. When I came to Astana, the groups here are even bigger. When children learn that it's free, that they can skate and skate at a very high speed and parents push them forward, sport now is fashionable. It's a modern trend. The short track has developed very much in recent years. If we compare it with its state in 1990s, it was in decline. I participated in the championship of Kazakhstan. We had no one to fight. There was no financing. We did not go to the world championships. We stayed on the same level. We could only afford one competition per year, the championship of Kazakhstan. Now we hold so many races, additional competitions. We take young people out to international competitions, and the development is very serious. I see substantial investments in short track.
Большие вклады и именно в шорт-трек начали вкладываться очень хорошо.
By tradition, the final part of our program, Video of the Week. The ski season is already behind, so today we can remember a snowy winter we had this year. Enjoy the crazy descent of the British snowboarder John Jackson.